you? Piggyback, won't you take me? Piggyback, won't you? Piggyback, won't you take me? Piggyback, 'cause all I want is.
amount of hand washing could stop.
Started disappearing, and then a message read, "Disk destroyer. Your hard drive is now corrupted."
Yeah, that's a virus.
Oh dear.
So no one's gonna say anything for the rest of the night.
Wouldn't be the first time no one said anything when the subject of love came up.
I said something.
That doesn't count.
Listen, if you said I love you to Marcus, and he said samesies, would you be okay with that?
Well,
And before you answer, remember who agreed to take you on a secret date.
Days when your hard drive was clean. I've never been good at sharing. I had to share a room, a bedroom. Rico.
Made me really happy if he came back, and you said yourself that happiness is important in the university.
Are you trying to manipulate me?
Hey, being small and petty is fun.
Anyway,
In the garage and Missy's in her room hating the world.
What's wrong with Miss?
My guest is a boy, and I hope you like this song because it's in heavy rotation.
You know, there's letters in here too.
I think she's asleep.
Mandy seems nice.
She's alright.
Things getting serious?
Because I'm a very successful businessman and you're sitting here in the middle of the day. Well, you're here too. You were here first.
I'd only been a shareholder for 1 day, and I was already reveling in the giddy thrill of being part owner of a
Health budgeting, product design, finding a little more impressive than Shaq. I'm your man.
My sister had taken a different path with her money.
What is that? The cotton candy machine? Why?
What is like a...
Don't think I'm a catch. You're a catch. You're very catch. Darn tootin'.
They're right, you're wrong.
Keep your eyes on your own papers. Not cheating. Well, that's not what happens there.
Fine, normal. I mean, great.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
You know there's a more spatially efficient way to do that.
Moving places that I can narrow that down.
I'll check into Missy's room for clues. If she took her roller skates, this case is closed.
Well, whichever one it was, I'm on your side. Screw Brett.
I don't even know what happened.
You're right, sorry. What happened?
You know, Brenda was being overly
twice, so I tore her head off. Oh, sounds like Georgie's home. George, wake up, watch Star Trek with your son. Birthday.
Hey.
Everything okay?
Time it's for your own good. Scientists who pursue little green men get laughed at.
Sucks. Ooh, sounds like I missed a good dinner.
My bad, Mom, because I want to.
Boy, me. Someday his kids are going to tell him he's ruining their life.
Huh?
If he hasn't, they're going to say it. Probably done.
Joke's on him. I did have kids.
Fun to get ready for the movie.
Nice. Little mom and daughter day. You know.
Formula's in the bag. Tag your it.
Well, looks like it's just me and you. Let me give you the tour.
I'm afraid he's ready.
File cabinet 2. Cash boxes. A stupid Patrick Swayze. Still works.
I understand your trepidation, but you were all so nervous about sending him here, and that turned out fine.
So it's a big day.
Thank you, Mom.
Sorry. Just don't do it in June, baby.
Really? I'll die, and this is what you're going to talk about? It's been so dramatic. So you know, we don't need your money.
Professor Salzman, I just wanted to let you know that I studied up. Well, I would have gone to a better school, but I was 11, which you have to admit is pretty impressive.
Jimmy, at some point, the ask.
Sound of that. All right, I can wait.
Nope.
수압이 중에 나와 있어가지고 걸려서. 조심도 좀 하지. 그거 왜 나한테 물어보지 않고 마음대로 옷을 입고 나가.
그러자, 좀 쳐달라 그러자.
야, 햄패티 아직도 안 말해봤어?
좋아.
뭐?
아 여보, 우리 얘기 아버지 듣고 계셨나 본데?
어? 얘, 아까 우리가 무슨 얘기 했지?
누구세요?
주실까? 글자까지 바꾸신 거 주시려고 그러신 거 아니겠어?
당신 잘해서 당신 저거 꼭 해야 되지.
쌤뭐 저거 진짜를
그건 아니지. 네가 평가하는 점수를 안 얻었잖아. 그러니까 네가 평가하는 점수를 잘 얻으면
talking.
An issue with betrayal because I knew what it was. A family, sisters.
And it means every time. I'm here for work. Like, I never do anything. I usually just like it's like the home of like glamour, no? And
Yeah.
like celebrities.
And Beverly Hills Juice Company.
Yeah.
That's history.
She screamed at me like none other. You look so cute. Thank you. You look my pink hair. I love your hair.
완성했습니다.
With you the sun is shining 24/7. 'Cause when we're together it feels like we're in heaven. If it will get dark you'll be my million stars. I know I can lean on you. Oh, you catch me like a leaf falling from a tree. If I'll be a shooting star, you make a wish. No, I don't fake this kind of feeling.